Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Dyser. I'm here with my Damien Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning we're talking about the mindlessly slim. It's not a title we've ever given to anyone, but I saw it in the media this morning and I had to bring it up because it's very interesting. The Cornell Food and Brand Lab is doing studies on people who are just skinny naturally, or they're just slim, or they never diet, or they just go about life in their normal way and don't gain any weight. We're trying to get some cues on how this is happening, why it works. And I thought it would be interesting for us to go over. They started with a simple study of 200 people, 100 people who are just what they would call mindlessly slim, who don't ever diet or focus on weight loss, and then people who diet constantly, who are just always on a diet and always trying something new or doing something different. And what they found was the people who are what they would call mindlessly slim do three things. And I'd like to see what you think of them. I think that it's quite powerful what they've expressed in their study. People who are mindlessly slim tend to cook for themselves, tend to eat high quality foods, and tend to listen to inner cues with how much they're eating and when is enough and what they would like to eat and what they need.
So I would dare say that they're not burdened with emotional eating issues.
Right.
And probably probably wasn't raised in a home with emotional eating issues.
Yeah, it often comes back to our childhoods, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially I find a big association with if you grew up in a household where either your mother was always dieting or your mother held a lot of value on looks or talked about looks. Mm-hmm. I see that in my clientele that there'll be more a tendency to having emotional issue situations to overcome.
Yes, or if you see your parental figures swinging in weight.
Yes.
Then it can be like, oh, this is normal to eat a certain way and then diet a certain way and then eat a certain way and diet a certain way. But I think that, I love the first one. I think that cooking for yourself is extremely powerful when you're just focusing on overall health and wellness program.
Yeah, I find that interesting. I think that's really, that's good. I didn't expect that they were going to say that. Because there's Bethany Frankel. Yeah. She wrote Naturally Thin years ago.
Yeah.
And one of her biggest examples was she was an assistant for the Hiltons. And she used to drive Paris and Nikki Hilton to and from school every day. And Paris and Nikki Hilton wouldn't avoid things like McDonald's, but they'd get McDonald's and then they'd just eat a few fries and then throw it out. Mm-hmm. And not purposely restricting. They just would enjoy the taste of things and then intrinsically shut it down and then move on. Now, I don't think these two ever cooked for themselves or would even...
But the intrinsically that you bring up is part of this.
Right, and I think that's what she tries to bring up in this book, is about observing people that don't have those types of issues. They'll indulge in food, but just have a few bites or have something really delicious, but she's very big on sticking to pure foods, non-GMO, high quality, not the low fat, low sugar, just real food.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes absolute sense. So in our life, we focus basically 99% of the time on cooking for ourselves.
Yes.
And we found that that's super effective in maintaining health. Going to restaurants, it's extremely difficult to eat healthy. No matter if you're going to a healthy restaurant or not. When you go to a healthy restaurant, you can often get a portion size that would be larger than what you might have at home.
Well, I think it's more you don't know what people are cooking with or what people are adding to. And yes, if you have portion control issues, the portions.
And high quality foods, I don't think we can really speak enough about that.
No. And a lot of the time when you go to restaurants, it's hard to get a high volume of fruits and vegetables with your meal.
In a different way than at home, because at home, you can decide on the size of each portion for your plate.
Because naturally, cheap carbohydrates and protein is going to fill up a plate at a restaurant because it's less expensive for them.
For sure.
So at home, the proportions of your plate would be much different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of the high quality issue, you don't know what you're getting at a restaurant. At home, you know what you're getting. You know what you're buying.
Yeah.
And you can decide. So if it's a pasta night, you can say, I'm getting organic brown rice pasta.
Mm.
It's important. And then in terms of the inner cues, I think this is something that you've taught me, and I've seen you teach thousands of people. How to listen to yourself, how to know when you're full, how to manage your portion sizes, how to know what to eat even.
Because I didn't have it.
Right.
And I had to learn it.
Oh, this is a great conversation, because where I wanted to take this was, how can an emotional eater become Bridget snoring. How can an emotional eater become a mindlessly slim person?
It takes work.
But it's possible.
Oh, yes. 100%. I don't connect now to emotional eating ways. It's something that I will always have to monitor. I think much like, someone that says they're an alcoholic or have been addicted to foods or have any type of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can heal yourself of it, but you always have to be humble in that it could come back. Not scared of it in that way. I'm not scared of it, but I'm very aware.
Mm.
So if emotions are coming up and coincidentally I'm having a treat, before I ever would, I would reflect on why I'm having it, how I feel. It's something you have to stay in tune with.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the truth.
Oh, it's the same thing for me.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
When I was years ago, before I changed everything, I would get upset and I would just binge on unhealthy food.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was normal. It's called comfort food.
Exactly. That's the name.
It was my family get-togethers were not so much about seeing your family. They were more about who's bringing what,
mm-hmm.
and how we're going to eat until our stomachs hurt. Then we may pass out for a while. Then we're going to eat some more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's normal in the community where we're
definitely. From. Many communities. I mean, that's what you do.
So I had to realize that that's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to change. And no one else had to change around me. That's a big thing too. When we change, it's hard because people will try to drag you back in because it's more to other people that you're leaving the pack or you're reflecting to them that what they're doing is wrong. So you have to be really gentle and kind when
mm-hmm.
you're changing. No one else has to change.
Right.
And you're in charge of your change no matter if people are trying to drag you in, if people are showing up at your house with chocolate chip cookies. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You're a full-blown adult and you're in charge of it. And you have to set healthy boundaries. A really simple tool is to, if you love the person that's trying to drag you back into emotional eating, is to have a humble conversation. Not from, you can't do this to me, defensiveness. From humble, all defenses dropped, this is what I'm trying to do. This is why I'm trying to do it. This means a lot to me. And if you could help me in these ways, I would really deeply appreciate it. I love you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
When we first started, we had to do that. I had to ask you to not bring certain things into the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have conversations with clients where they're just, how could I ever ask my husband not to bring pizza into the house? He loves pizza, blah, blah, blah. Well, you guys love each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to make your lives better. And if he can't let go of pizza over you, just pull yourself out of that for a second.
For sure.
He doesn't love pizza more than your emotional happiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity.
Definitely.
So, there's different things. Like now, you and I, it's not like you don't enjoy things, but we go and we make a time out of it.
Mm-hmm. If
you want pizza, we find the best Italian restaurant in town and we go and we make reservations and we go have pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Well, it's that also I would put under the category of going for high quality foods.
100%.
So this is another topic where, in my practice, it's, yours is about getting people to listen to inner cues. For me, it's often the more high quality problem, getting people to spend a little bit of extra money on foods. This is something I learned through you from your father,
mm-hmm.
which was, don't cheap out on your grocery order.
He would say, and my dad was the type of person that saved every penny he ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous. Just ridiculous. If you ever asked him for any type of cash, he would scrounge around his little tiny wallet and only have a few pennies. I mean, he banked everything he ever had. But one thing he taught us and said was a non-negotiable was you never feel guilty about spending money on healthy food. Because the reality is, it's money in the bank, it's your health. There's nothing else.
No, exactly.
If you don't have your health, nothing else matters. No. Your extra money for whatever doesn't matter.
No.
And the reality is I would rather have healthy foods than, a shelf full of fancy thousands of dollar purses and shoes. That's my reality. That's my truth. I would rather be healthy. It doesn't mean I don't love those things. It doesn't mean that I don't love beautiful things and feeling beautiful, but I just realized that you can't dress up unhealthy. It doesn't matter. If I don't feel healthy, it doesn't matter how gorgeous or expensive my purse is. It's just stupid.
Exactly, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's like we talk about all the time. You can't pour whipped cream on garbage and call it a sundae. You can't do it.
I love that.
You have to have the foundational health. And that starts from healthy food. And you can't feel guilty about it.
No. I mean, that you really adopt that. Like, this is not just you saying this. You're passionate about this when it comes to every single meal.
100%. And I'm not crazy. I went to the grocery store the other day. I really want papayas. I've been craving papayas like a crazy person because I haven't had them since last summer. And I go to get my papaya and it's about as big as my fist and it's $10. Now, I didn't buy it.
No.
Because I just... Now, if that was going to be my only thing, my treat, but that's not how I roll with papaya.
No.
When I get on a papaya kick, I eat a lot of papaya. So, I was, I'm not careless or crazy. No. I don't go into Whole Foods and just, bring $100 bills and light them on fire. I still have a plan.
Yeah.
And I keep, rational, and I eat seasonally, and I find things that are a good price, and that's what I make meals of that week. And
yes, it's not about just blowing your money on nothing.
No, it's not like I'm worth it, so here's $20 for this tiny little papaya, and I'm gonna... I mean, if that's what you're into, you go for it.
For sure.
Whatever,
for
but...
Sure.
You keep a rational sense about you.
Definitely.
Because your ego will come up when I say, spend money on quality food. Your ego's going to come up and your ego's going to say, how can I afford? And all this drama's going to come up. And I get it. We've all been there. But the reality is you can eat seasonally, you can eat inexpensively, and you can eat ridiculously healthy.
Yes.
It just takes a little bit of effort.
It's true.
And it's money in the bank. You're making yourself a healthier person.
And you're building those inner cues, because the more you eat this healthy, high quality food, the more the body starts to crave it and recognize where it gets its energy and where it gets its protein and where it gets its healthy fats. You start to...
Addiction loses its grip on you. Food addiction. Especially when you eliminate all those chemicals that play tricks on our brain.
Oh my gosh,
White
definitely.
sugar, additives, all the crap. When that all leaves... it loses a hold on you. I remember just a while ago, there was something that I tried that I had. I forget what it was. It was, gosh, I wish I could remember.
Was it a treat?
Yeah, but it wasn't something, it was something you had. Maybe it was something someone sent us. Anyway, it was something I used to enjoy years ago, and I hadn't had it, and I tried it, and I didn't like it at all.
Oh my gosh, that's happening for me all the time now.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is.
And I mean, I used to love it, and I'll think about it and try to figure out what it was. It was something that I used to just die for. Well, you're such a chocolate snob now.
Definitely. I was not before.
No.
I was not before. It's really evolved. I mean, it's like what you tell me all the time. It's if white sugar was introduced to the market now, the low quality processed white sugar, if that was introduced, the FDA would not approve it.
No.
It would be classified as a drug. It would not. It is most likely it would be, because of its addictive qualities, it would not be approved.
100%.
So we're in a situation where it can be hard to avoid if it's part of your current diet, and you have to make conscious choices to shift away.
You have to, and the best way is to avoid processed foods. Shopping mainly on those outside aisles.
Exactly, which may, as we heard a month ago, shift to be the inside aisles, but we'll see. So this is this topic about this new term, mindlessly slim, I like it. I'm interested in it because I think that it can help with the making it normal to shift from an emotional eating pattern to just a normal way of being, and not being under the umbrella of dieter or dieting or these negative connotations we have associated with the word diet.
Right, but it takes work if you're coming from a place.
Oh, for sure.
It took real work for me to turn my ship around.
Mm-hmm.
But now as I sit here, like I said, like it used to be a struggle all the time. Like I'd be like fighting with myself not to eat this or not to go this, or oh, I'm going here, or oh, I'm going with this person. They're going to trigger me into this. And like it was a real struggle. I hated it. Like I remember throwing hissy fits. Why can't I eat junk? The people that are natural like thin. Like just crying like a baby instead of just doing what it takes. Like it's just not reality. So suck it up, honey. You know, I remember it. And yeah, but now it's not like it's an effort.
Right.
But you have to.
You've been through it.
You have to do the work in the beginning, like all things in life. Anything that you're going to achieve that gives you freedom, or, you know, unless it's the gift that you were born with, which some of us are blessed in certain areas to have an easier time of things we don't have to necessarily cultivate. But if that's not true for you, it's going to take work.
Yeah.
But then this reward where you feel free and there's no little demons knocking on the door.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's nice to see, you know, someone who's gone through it and someone who can now teach it, which is why when I saw it, it really resonated with me.
Definitely.
I want to shift gears quickly here and go through one more thing that came up recently that I think is incredibly interesting, and you're not going to think it's that shocking because I think that you probably already know about it. But this idea of that humans have an instinct for facial mimicry. And what that means is that's the umbrella that's being studied at the moment, an instinct for facial mimicry. But basically, facial expressions and emotions that you're expressing through your facial movements are contagious. So, being happy, smiling, going into a room with a positive vibe, a positive attitude, can shift the room. Going into the room feeling sad or feeling negative or feeling low can shift the room into mimicking you.
100%.
We see it. We see it.
And we say it to each other all the time. If I'm having a quote-unquote bad day, or if I'm going down the loop of...
Oh, I'm the worst.
No, if someone sucked me into something with, you know, business, drama, or whatever, and you come home, the first thing I say to you is, I've got to get this out.
Yeah.
I'm in a bad place, but I need you not to come down here with me.
Right.
That's what we say all the time, don't we?
Oh, all the time.
Because I need you to hold the space of higher ground. I can't get you to come down here no matter how mad you may be for me or with me.
Yeah.
You can't come here. You need to stay there. And we need to work this out.
Definitely. So in doing that, you're going against instinct, but you're also holding that space for the person. So
because it works.
Oh, it totally works. What they've seen is that when they track people's facial expressions, when someone is coming towards you and they're very happy, and what you normally do first is the brain will mimic their facial expression so that it can learn what to feel for them. It's how we were learning. This is how we have empathy. And most of the population will do this to some extent. Obviously, some people do it more than others. There's always that range. So if you come in and, you know, you're really upset about something, or if I'm coming home and you're upset, my brain will instantly mimic your facial expression to teach me how you're feeling. And so what they've seen is that they show people facial expressions of others, and those people can guess with a high accuracy exactly what they're feeling just by their facial expression. And I think I was going through this with you the other night. I found, this is separate and it's just coming up for me. We found a thing where it said that people could guess basically exactly what they were going through based on someone's emotion about the topic without it ever saying what it was.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So, to get around this, I mean, obviously we want to have empathy for others. You can do this very quickly to get your empathy, right? I mean, if you're instinctually doing this, you can, you know, express empathy towards the person and then move into this separate space, which you're saying that we do for each other, of being that centered, common
being the
ground.
lighthouse instead of the light.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
It's so interesting. I mean, you can shift the vibe of the room. So this is also another case for Doing positive affirmations,
Mm-hmm.
or doing even facial exercises,
I think
laughing
also
therapy.
Owning your energy.
Totally.
You read that quote that always says, own the energy you bring into a room.
Mm-hmm.
I so believe that. And it doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time or fake it. Like I said, we work things out all the time together.
Mm-hmm.
But we set up those boundaries and verbally say, okay, I need you to hold the space. I can't get you to come down here with me, because I'm terrible. If David tells me something that's upset him, or I get so angry for him, I get more angry than him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For anything that negatively affects you.
Absolutely. So if you're going into a situation, you can make these shifts as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can, if you know that something you're going through is heavy, you can save it for later. If you're going into a situation where you need to be that grounded person in the room,
mm-hmm.
your facial expression will be it will be something that people will mimic.
Well, I mean, I think any woman, you can't deny, especially women, that women can walk into a room and tell there's something going on.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't take that from us.
No.
As a young person, we were taught by our family, like, own your intuition, believe your intuition. If something feels wrong, go move, do whatever. And it's so important that we, like you said, we can use it to our benefit.
Well, this is the conversation about women having this extreme sense of empathy and being able to get into that place very quickly because of this intrinsic mothering and
that. But also, don't forget, women have to keep themselves safe.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we all believe that our society's tried to kind of trick us that women aren't oppressed still.
Mm-hmm.
We are. Women still walk down the street and get heckled when they're alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
For sure.
So, part of it is keeping ourselves safe.
Definitely.
And we've had to cultivate that.
Owning your situation, owning your emotions, and being able to respond in a way that's powerful.
Yeah.
For sure. So, facial expressions, contagious. Emotion, and in turn, the next step down the line is that emotions are contagious.
Yeah, it makes you want to own your stuff.
It really does. I think it's helpful to hear that. I know it's a study confirming that what people normally feel anyhow, that you can change the vibe of the room based on how you are. But it's helpful to see it on paper for me because it's so easy to explain. This is happening. We see this with a larger percent of the population than not. So cool. So cool. So that's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamieHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamieHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamieHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamieHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.